Letter to the Joint Chiefs, 24 June 2020. By Anna von Reitz. Letter to the Joint Chiefs, 24 June 2020. Gentlemen. We are enclosing the substance of our letter sent to United Nations Secretary-General Guterres and President Trump this morning. If you value your power, your jobs, your pensions, your reputations or anything else in this world, you'd better get off your flat asses and shut down the Plan-demic live exercise and come to heel right about now. And as for President Trump, you'd better take very good care of him. He is the only one of you that has a firm contract. The rest of you can be dismissed like so many farts in the wind. Sincerely. Anna Maria Riezinger, Fiduciary, the United States of America, Unincorporated, blank, Letter to United Nations Secretary-General, June 24, 2020. Dear Mr. Guterres and Mr. Trump. It has come to our attention that our doctors, nurses, dentists, pharmacists, and other respected healthcare professionals have been illegally conscripted as uniformed officers and also illegally licensed so as to coerce their compliance with political agendas and promote the use of these professionals to conduct war on our shores. Our doctors have been forced for fear of not being able to make a living in their profession, to participate in the thoroughly illegal, immoral, and unlawful practice of presuming political statuses upon babies, which has resulted in a virtual genocide on paper against the civilian population in this country. The doctors, though personally and morally culpable to the extent that they have known the result of their participation in issuing birth certificates, are not to be held generally liable. That burden devolves upon the politicians who wrote and adopted the offending federal code and upon the principals who allowed this without oversight. We are suspending all medical doctors' licenses in this country and the licenses of all other healthcare professionals. All those affected will be able to continue with their work without regard to the American Medical Association (AMA) union, and without regard to any punishments or limitations offered under any federal or federal franchise state-of-state code. Former medical doctors will henceforth function as private physicians on our shores, and any future oversight deemed necessary in the interests of public health will be done by the civilian government. Similarly, all nurses, pharmacists, dentists, and other healthcare professionals are released from any conscription into federal service as medical officers licensed by the American Medical Association (AMA) or any other professional guild. These persons may not be used for any obligatory military service against their will and may not be coerced by any required license or guild card issued by any labor union or professional association operating a closed shop. This goes for both the American Medical Association and its practices and both the American Bar Association and the United States Bar Association. We have reason to believe that medical personnel are being used on a worldwide basis to conduct a form of proxy mercenary war against the civilian population of many countries and that these crimes are being purposefully predicated on deceit and abuse of public trust in the medical profession, a trust placed in these professionals without knowing that these professionals have been conscripted and coerced under involuntary military service obligations. Thus, any medical doctor could be forced to lie under oath, to give false information to patients, to prescribe ineffective or even harmful medications and therapies, to sign false birth certificates, to recommend harmful practices such as giving untested and dangerous vaccinations, to present false test results, to falsify scientific research, and undertake other acts of war against reason and the public good. We believe that our medical professionals have been pressed into service in exactly this kind of activity with regard not only to the issuance of falsified birth records, but also in the development and delivery of harmful vaccines and pharmaceuticals, the promotion of abortion and sale of fetal tissues and organs, and now, the staging of a false flag in China, the development and release of an enhanced version of the common cold virus to target the world's elderly population, and forced participation in this quasi-military operation designed to fool and bilk and traumatize the public that these men and women are otherwise supposed to serve. These activities are pre-planned and heinous in all regards, costing trillions of dollars and disruption of services and the uprooting and unemployment of hundreds of millions of people worldwide. We are therefore taking these actions and inviting all member nations of the United Nations to follow suit in the prompt removal of all military service conscription and military licensing of medical and legal professionals, and also in bringing prompt prosecution against those governmental services corporations and professional associations that are responsible for this gross betrayal of public trust and deplorable misuse of medical and legal professionals as soldiers in illegal mercenary wars. We wish for the Plan-demic to be shut down and exposed as exactly as U.S. Secretary of State Michael Pompeo called it, a live exercise, and also as the mean-spirited and self-interested hoax that it is, criminal in intent and illegal for any national military force to engage in using uniformed officers. The entire world has suffered as a result of, again, the venal duplicity and dishonesty of the government of Westminster, Great Britain, the proxy government they have run in the United States, the egregious negligence and bad faith of the Roman Curia, and the actions of commercial corporations and corporate executives also serving as corporate officers conscripted into this scheme of corporate feudalism. We call for the immediate arrest and execution of Bill Gates, for his crimes against humanity and especially against the elderly and the children of the world via his vaccination programs. We call for the confiscation of his personal and corporate assets in payment for these crimes. We similarly call for the immediate arrest and execution of George Soros, for his crimes against humanity which include fomenting insurrection on a worldwide basis, harmful subliminal programming delivered via popular music and movies and television, human trafficking, and other crimes too numerous to mention. We call for the confiscation of his personal and corporate holdings in payment for these crimes. These evil men and the evils they promote and foist upon others for the sake of political power and love of money must be brought to an end. We also call for the immediate dissolution and liquidation of the American Medical Association as an unlawful labor union and closed union shop. We similarly call for the immediate dissolution and liquidation of the American Bar Association and the United States Bar Association for the same cause. And we hereby publish the end of any municipal or military conscription of or licensing of medical professionals as uniformed officers anywhere the long arm of our government extends, on our shores or in our names. This madness and destruction and betrayal of the public trust must be brought to a swift and decisive end, and we, the American states and people, will not be blamed for it. This entire heinous circumstance, the destruction that has been visited upon the world economy, upon the elderly and upon the babies and children, lies with the politicians, bankers, generals, admirals, and corporate executives who have sought their own self-interest and gross enrichment at the expense of their customers and employers. These short-sighted criminals must be tracked down, prosecuted, and removed on a permanent basis from any position of public trust or benefit, including the benefit of being able to form corporations and enabled to seek bankruptcy protection for themselves and their enterprises. Any corporation or association or organization of any kind which promotes agendas contrary to the public good must be liquidated with prejudice and permanently disbanded. If we discover any church or religious organization, any labor union or professional association, any club, any military organization or government subcontractor participating in medical or commercial crimes or acting as a storefront secluding criminal activity, they will be taken over, their property will be confiscated, and their employees will be out of work. Most sincerely, Anna Maria Riezinger, Fiduciary, the United States of America, Unincorporated.